The story of Rome is more than just history. It's the epic of ambition, innovation, and power that shaped the world for centuries to come. Rome's legacy is woven into the very fabric of our modern lives, echoing through the ages in ways both grand and subtle. From humble beginnings as a small city-state on the banks of the Tiber, Rome grew into a colossal empire. Its legions marched across continents, from the misty highlands of Scotland to the deserts of Mesopotamia, forging connections and leaving their mark on every land they touched. The Roman eagle, soaring above the standards of the legions, symbolized not just military might, but a culture and system of laws that still influence us today. Roman ideals of order, discipline, and justice became the backbone of Western civilization. Rome's builders, engineers, and administrators laid the foundations of Western civilization. Their innovations in architecture, infrastructure, and governance set new standards for the ancient world and continue to inspire awe and admiration. Legendary figures like Julius Caesar and Augustus fill a saga of triumphs, defeats, luxury, and poverty. Their stories are woven into the tapestry of Rome's rise and fall, shaping the destiny of millions and leaving behind a legacy of ambition and intrigue. Concepts like citizenship, republican government, and written law came from Rome. These ideas form the bedrock of modern democracies, influencing legal systems and political thought across continents and generations. Their roads, aqueducts, and monumental buildings still inspire awe. These feats of engineering connected distant provinces, brought fresh water to cities, and created spaces for public life that endure as wonders of the world. The empire's vast reach created a melting pot of cultures, languages, and religions, all held together by Roman administration and military power. People from every corner of the empire mingled in its cities, sharing ideas and traditions that enriched Roman society. The Pax Romana, a period of relative peace, allowed goods, people, and ideas to flow freely across continents. Trade flourished, cities thrived, and the exchange of knowledge helped spark new advancements in art, science, and philosophy. Yet Rome's immense size contained the seeds of its decline. Defending vast borders, managing political complexity, and coping with economic strain proved overwhelming. Internal divisions and external pressures slowly eroded the empire's strength. The fall of Rome was not a sudden collapse, but a slow transformation, a cautionary tale about the fragility of power and the cycles of history. Even in ruin, Rome's enduring grasp continues to shape our world, reminding us of both the heights of human achievement and the lessons of the past. As Rome expanded, ruling such a vast territory became impossible for one man. Emperor Diocletian's tetrarchy split the empire between East and West, each with its own emperor and junior Caesar. This division was practical. Eastern provinces were wealthier and more urban, while the West faced constant frontier threats. Over time, the two halves developed distinct identities and problems. The split became permanent after Theodosius I, who left the east to Arcadius and the west to Honorius. From then on, the Roman world was divided. The Western Empire with shifting capitals, and the Eastern Empire ruled from Constantinople. Though they still called themselves Romans, their destinies would diverge dramatically. The crisis of the 3rd century nearly destroyed Rome, a half-century of civil war, invasions, and economic collapse. Emperors were made and unmade by their armies, leading to chaos and vulnerability. Germanic tribes and the resurgent Persian Empire exploited Rome's weakness, even capturing Emperor Valerian. The economy crumbled as emperors debased the currency, causing rampant inflation and the breakdown of trade. Plague and war devastated the population and tax base. Out of this chaos, strong leaders like Aurelian and Diocletian restored order with military and administrative reforms. The empire became more militarized and autocratic, setting the stage for East-West division. The scars of this crisis would never fully heal. Rome survived, but it was fundamentally changed. The seeds of separation and decline had been sown. As the West faltered, the East was reborn with the founding of Constantinople by Constantine the Great. Strategically placed on the Bosphorus, the new capital controlled trade and was easily defended. Constantinople became a Christian city, filled with churches and relics, aligning imperial power with the rising faith. The city's wealth, population, and security shifted the empire's center of gravity eastward. The Eastern Empire's economy and administration thrived, supporting a professional army and civil service. Greek became the common language, blending Roman law, Greek culture, and Christian tradition. This Byzantine civilization saw itself as the true continuation of Rome. From Constantinople, emperors would rule for another 1,000 years. The legacy of Rome endured in the East long after the West had fallen. While the Eastern Roman Empire flourished, growing ever richer and more secure, the Western Empire faced relentless and mounting pressure on its borders. The once mighty Roman legions, stretched thin across vast frontiers, struggled to hold back the tide of invaders. Mass migrations, Goths, pushed by the terrifying advance of the Huns, overwhelmed Roman defenses. These desperate peoples, seeking safety and new lands, surged across the borders, clashing with Roman forces in brutal confrontations. The Vandals, too, driven westward by the Huns, swept into Roman territory. Their arrival brought chaos and destruction, as they carved out new homes within the empire's weakened heartlands. The Franks, another Germanic tribe, followed in their wake, also fleeing the Huns. They pressed into Roman lands, further overwhelming the already fragile defenses of the West. The weakened Western army, unable to recruit enough Roman soldiers, increasingly relied on Germanic mercenaries, but these foreign warriors often fought for their own interests, and their loyalty to Rome was always in doubt. In the harsh winter of 406 CE, a coalition of tribes crossed the frozen Rhine River, invading Gaul. They swept through the countryside, seizing land and carving out new kingdoms on former Roman soil. Just a few years later, in 410 CE, the unthinkable happened. The Visigoths sacked Rome itself. The Eternal City, long thought invincible, was left in ruins, its myth of security shattered forever. The West lost vital provinces, North Africa, the empire's breadbasket, to barbarian rule. The loss of these lands crippled Rome's ability to feed its people and fund its armies. Britain, once a proud outpost of Roman civilization, was abandoned to its fate. Roman rule faded, leaving behind only ruins and memories. Gaul too fell to barbarian control. The Western Empire's heartlands were now lost, and its power was fading fast. The emperor, once the master of the world, became a powerless puppet, manipulated by ambitious barbarian generals who held the real power. The economy collapsed, trade routes broke down, and the empire shrank to a shadow of its former self. Once bustling cities emptied, and Roman life faded away. Rome's ability to project power vanished. Its armies, once feared across the world, were now scattered and broken. The Western Empire was on the brink of collapse, its cities crumbling and its people living in fear and uncertainty. The stage was set for the final fall of Rome, a world transformed forever by the barbarians at its gates. By the 470s, the Western Roman Empire had shrunk dramatically, reduced to little more than Italy and a handful of scattered outposts. Once the heart of a vast Mediterranean empire, its authority now rested in the hands of Germanic generals who commanded its armies and shaped its fate. The last emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was just a boy, placed on the throne by his ambitious father, Orestes, who hoped to rule through his son. The empire's leadership had become a shadow of its former self, with puppet emperors and real power wielded by military strongmen. When Orestes refused to grant land in Italy to his barbarian mercenaries, their leader Odoacer rose in rebellion. Odoacer's forces swept through the region, captured and executed Orestes, and advanced on the imperial capital of Ravenna, signaling the final crisis of Roman rule in the West. The Roman state, hollowed out by years of internal strife and external threats, was unable to mount any real resistance. Its defenses were in ruins, its armies depleted, and its people weary of endless conflict. Odoacer deposed the young Romulus Augustulus and, in a symbolic gesture, sent the imperial regalia to the Eastern Roman Emperor in Constantinople. With this act, he declared the Western Empire finished, ending centuries of Roman rule in the West. Odoacer now ruled Italy as king, nominally recognizing the authority of the Eastern Emperor, but in reality, he governed independently. The Western imperial title was never restored. The year 476 CE is traditionally marked as the end of the Western Roman Empire, a date remembered as a turning point in European history. Yet, the fall was not a single cataclysmic event. Roman culture, laws and ways of life continued under the new Germanic rulers. Many aspects of Roman administration and daily routine persisted, blending with the customs of the newcomers. But the unifying authority of Rome, which had once bound together so many peoples and lands, was gone forever. The symbols of Roman power faded, and the Senate's voice fell silent. Western Europe entered a new, fragmented era, where local warlords and kings competed for power. The old order had collapsed, leaving a patchwork of rival territories in its wake. The age of empire had ended. The age of kingdoms had begun. From the ashes of Rome, medieval Europe would slowly emerge, shaped by new rulers, new faiths, and new identities. While the West fragmented, the Eastern Roman or Byzantine Empire thrived for nearly 1,000 years. From Constantinople, emperors preserved Roman law, statecraft, and military tradition. The Byzantines called themselves Romans, heirs to Augustus and Constantine. Emperor Justinian's campaigns briefly reclaimed lost Western lands, but his greatest legacy was the codification of Roman law. The Byzantines shielded Europe from Eastern invasions and mastered diplomacy and statecraft. Their culture and administration preserved classical knowledge through the Dark Ages. After centuries of struggle, Constantinople fell to the Ottomans in 1453, ending the Roman Empire. Yet, the Byzantine legacy endured, preserving ancient texts, spreading Orthodox Christianity, and shaping Eastern Europe. The Byzantines bridged the ancient and modern worlds. Their influence reached far beyond their fall. The light of Rome continued to shine through Byzantium. Rome's fall didn't end its influence. Its legacy shapes our world today. Roman law, compiled by Justinian, became the foundation for modern legal systems. The principle of innocent until proven guilty is a Roman idea. Latin evolved into the Romance languages and influenced English vocabulary. Roman engineering, arches, aqueducts, roads, still shapes our cities and infrastructure. The concept of a unified, well-governed state, the inspired future leaders. The idea of a republic and citizen rights was born in Rome. Roman administrative structures became models for later governments and the Catholic Church. Rome's cultural and political ideals outlived its empire. Its ideas continue to shape the modern world. The Roman Empire is a timeless drama of ambition, power, and innovation. Its rise from a village to world power shows humanity's capacity to build and organize. Rome's military and political might became enduring symbols, but its fall warns of the dangers of unchecked power. The Romans excelled at adopting and perfecting ideas, engineering, law, administration. Their spirit of innovation remains a model for progress. Rome's story is a mirror for our own societies, our ambitions, challenges, and vulnerabilities. The rise and fall of Rome is more than history. It's a symbol of human potential and fragility. The shadow of Rome still shapes our world, a legacy for all time. Rome, the eternal city, a place of myth and power, where the echoes of ancient legends mingled with the ambitions of men. For centuries it was ruled by its senate and people, a republic proud of its traditions and wary of unchecked ambition. But one man would change everything, Gaius Julius Caesar, whose name would become synonymous with power itself. Born into a noble yet not dominant family, Caesar was determined to rise above his station, driven by a restless energy and a vision for greatness. He saw Rome as a city of endless opportunity, where power could be seized not just through birthright, but through daring, charisma, and the loyalty of the legions. Caesar built his reputation with lavish games and calculated generosity, dazzling the crowds and winning the hearts of the masses who flocked to his side. He forged powerful alliances with Pompey the Great and Marcus Crassus, forming the First Triumvirate, a secret pact to control Roman politics and outmaneuver their rivals. Together they pooled their vast resources and influence, dominating the Republic from the shadows, shaping decisions that would affect millions. For Caesar, this alliance was more than a partnership. It was a stepping stone to military command and the glory he craved. He was a master strategist, navigating the complex web of Roman society with both boldness and patience, always thinking several moves ahead. Every move was calculated. Every favor a step toward his ultimate goal as he carefully built a network of supporters and allies. He wasn't just another senator, he was laying the foundation for a legacy that would echo through history, reshaping the very fabric of Rome. Caesar's ambition was clear, to be remembered as the man who shaped Rome's destiny and to leave a mark that would never fade. He built a loyal following among the people, using their support as both shield and sword, rallying them to his cause with promises of reform and glory. With powerful friends and the unwavering support of the masses, Caesar was ready to seize his moment and challenge the old order. The groundwork was set. His journey to greatness was just beginning, and the world would soon witness the rise of a legend. Little did Rome know, Caesar's ambitions would soon reach far beyond the city's walls, forever altering the course of history. Caesar knew that true power in Rome came from military glory, not just political maneuvering or noble birth. Appointed governor of Gaul, he saw not a backwater, but a chance to build an army, prove himself, and carve his name into history. He led from the front, sharing hardships with his soldiers, eating the same food, enduring the same cold nights, and forging fierce loyalty. His legions became devoted to him personally, a new and powerful force in Roman politics that no one had seen before. Caesar's tactical brilliance and daring maneuvers made him a legend among his men, inspiring awe and respect even from his enemies. He built bridges, crossed rivers, and turned engineering feats into propaganda, showing Rome that he could achieve the impossible. Stories of his exploits traveled back to Rome, fueling his growing legend and making his name known in every corner of the Republic. This transformation from politician to general gave him absolute power over thousands of loyal soldiers, men who would follow him anywhere. What was meant to be a routine governorship became the crucible of his destiny, a turning point that would change Rome forever. Caesar was no longer just an ambitious noble. He was now a force to be reckoned with, a man whose ambition matched his achievements. His rise was unstoppable, and his greatest adventures, the ones that would shape the fate of Rome, were yet to come. The stage was set for a conquest that would make him immortal, forever remembered as one of history's most extraordinary leaders. Caesar's campaign in Gaul became a relentless war of conquest, marked by ambition and ruthless determination. Driven by a desire for glory and power, he led his legions into the wild, untamed lands beyond Rome's borders. For nearly a decade he battled fierce Celtic tribes, expanding Rome's borders further than ever before. The Gallic warriors fought bravely, but Caesar's military genius and discipline often proved overwhelming. He chronicled his victories in the commentaries, casting himself as Rome's heroic defender. Through his words, he shaped his own legend, ensuring his deeds would echo through history. His most famous triumph came at Alesia, where he outmaneuvered a massive Gallic coalition led by the formidable Vercingetorix. The siege was brutal, testing the endurance of both armies. Ingenious fortifications and bold tactics led to a stunning victory and the end of Gallic resistance. The defeat at Alesia marked a turning point, sealing Caesar's reputation as a master strategist. Caesar's conquests brought immense wealth and glory to Rome, and to himself. Spoils of war flooded the city, enriching both the state and Caesar's personal fortune. He used this fortune to fund public works and lavish games, cementing his popularity among the people. His generosity made him a beloved figure in Roman society. The people adored him, but the Senate grew fearful of his rising power. His influence seemed to overshadow the authority of Rome's traditional leaders. Caesar's charisma and command of a loyal army made him a threat to the old order. His soldiers would follow him anywhere, their loyalty unwavering. The Gallic Wars made him a living legend, but also set him on a collision course with the Republic. His fame and ambition could not be contained. The Senate watched with growing alarm as his fame eclipsed their own authority. Tensions simmered, and whispers of civil strife began to spread. Caesar's legend was secure, but the seeds of conflict were sown. The fate of Rome now hung in the balance, as old rivalries threatened to erupt. The question was no longer if a showdown would come, but when. The city held its breath, awaiting the inevitable clash. Rome braced for the storm ahead, as the shadow of Caesar loomed ever larger over the Republic's uncertain future. After years of conquest, Caesar faced a fateful choice. Ordered by the Senate to disband his army and return to Rome alone, he risked ruin if he obeyed. At the Rubicon River, the boundary of his province, he paused, knowing to cross meant civil war. "The die is cast," he declared, and led his legion into Italy. This bold move sent shockwaves through Rome. The Senate and Pompey fled in panic. Caesar's march was met with open gates and cheering crowds. He was seen as a hero, not a rebel. He entered Rome without bloodshed, his popularity shielding him from opposition. The civil war had begun, but Caesar's first victory was swift and nearly bloodless. He now controlled Italy, but Pompey was gathering forces in the east. The final confrontation loomed. Caesar's defiance had changed Rome forever. The Republic's fate now hung in the balance. the world watched as Rome's greatest power struggle began. The civil war raged across the Mediterranean, but Caesar's genius prevailed. He defeated Pompey at Pharsalus, then became Rome's undisputed master. The Senate, now filled with his supporters, named him dictator, first for 10 years, then for life. Caesar launched sweeping reforms, reorganizing the calendar, building projects, land for veterans, and citizenship for many. He brought stability and prosperity, but his power unsettled Rome's elite. Caesar adopted royal symbols, his image on coins, a purple toga, a golden chair. Though he refused the title of king, his actions spoke otherwise. To the Senate, he was a monarch in all but name. The Republic's traditions were crumbling under his rule. Many saw him as a savior, others as a tyrant. Caesar's grip on power was absolute, but resentment simmered beneath the surface. The old guard feared the end of shared rule. Rome stood on the edge of transformation, or disaster. The stage was set for a dramatic reckoning. While Rome celebrated peace, a conspiracy brewed in the Senate. 60 senators, led by Brutus and Cassius, saw Caesar as a tyrant, not a savior. Brutus, once favored by Caesar, was torn by family legacy and duty. Cassius, ever suspicious, rallied others to the cause. Their fear was not just about titles, it was about the death of the Republic. Caesar controlled the army, treasury, and appointments. The Senate was powerless. They feared he'd pass power to an heir, ending the Republic forever. The conspirators plotted to strike before Caesar left for a new campaign. The Ides of March was chosen. The Senate would be their stage. They believed killing Caesar would restore liberty, but they had no plan for what came next. The fate of Rome would soon be decided in blood. On the Ides of March, omens and warnings surrounded Caesar. Ignoring his wife's pleas and soothsayers' cautions, he went to the Senate. There, conspirators surrounded him. Tilius Cimber grabbed his toga, the signal to attack. Daggers flashed. Caesar was stabbed 23 times. When he saw Brutus among the attackers, he gave up the fight. Et tu, Brute? The Senate erupted in chaos. The assassins fled, expecting to be hailed as heroes. Instead, Rome was stunned into silence and fear. Caesar's body lay abandoned, the Republic's future uncertain. The assassination did not restore freedom. It unleashed new chaos. Rome plunged into another, even bloodier civil war. In the chaos after Caesar's death, two rivals emerged, Mark Antony and Caesar's teenage heir, Octavian. Antony rallied the people with a fiery funeral speech, but Caesar's will named Octavian as his adopted son and heir. Octavian, underestimated by all, used Caesar's name and fortune to win support. He paid Caesar's legacies, won the loyalty of veterans, and claimed his place in Roman politics. Forming the second triumvirate with Antony and Lepidus, he hunted down Caesar's assassins. Brutus and Cassius were defeated at Philippi, but the alliance soon fractured. Octavian took the west, Antony the east. Rome was divided. Tensions rose. Another civil war was inevitable. Octavian, once dismissed as a boy, was now a master strategist. The final act of the Republic's collapse was set. Rome's fate would be decided by these last rivals. The world watched as the Republic's end drew near. Octavian was ready to seize his destiny. The final struggle pitted Octavian against Antony and Cleopatra. Octavian's propaganda painted Antony as a traitor, swaying Rome against him. At Actium, Octavian's fleet crushed Antony and Cleopatra's forces. The lovers fled to Egypt, where both took their own lives as Octavian closed in. At 32, Octavian stood alone as Rome's absolute ruler. Exhausted by war, Rome welcomed peace, even at the cost of the old republic. Octavian avoided Caesar's mistakes, refusing the title of king. In a masterstroke, he restored the republic, only to be named Augustus by a grateful Senate. In reality, Augustus held all power: army, finances, provinces. The Principate began, the Republic in name, empire in truth. Caesar's ambition had birthed a new era, the Pax Romana. Rome's first emperor ruled, and the world would never be the same. The legacy of Caesar's rise was a new dawn for Rome. Imagine a time when the world's greatest empire, stretching from the misty hills of Britain to the sun-baked sands of Egypt, enjoyed 2 centuries of remarkable peace and prosperity. This was a world where the clamor of battle faded, replaced by the hum of commerce and the laughter of children in bustling cities. The Roman Empire, at its height, was a tapestry of cultures, languages, and traditions, all woven together under the banner of Rome. This extraordinary era was known as the Pax Romana, Latin for Roman peace, a period that began with Augustus in 27 BC and endured until the reign of Marcus Aurelius in 180 AD. It was a time when emperors ruled not just with military might, but with a vision for stability and order. For millions of people across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, daily life became more stable and secure than ever before. Farmers tended their fields without fear of sudden invasion. Merchants traveled safely along well-guarded roads, and families flourished in vibrant towns and countryside villas. Roman legions still stood vigilant on the distant frontiers, defending the empire's vast borders from external threats. Yet, within the heartlands, the threat of civil war and chaos had faded, allowing society to thrive. Trade routes crisscrossed the empire, bringing exotic goods and new ideas from faraway lands. Culture blossomed, and grand construction projects, like amphitheaters, temples, and the awe-inspiring Colosseum, rose to define the Roman skyline. The Pax Romana was more than just the absence of war, it was a golden age of economic growth, technological innovation, and cultural fusion. Roman roads and aqueducts connected distant provinces, while art and ideas flowed freely, blending traditions from across the empire. After centuries of brutal civil war, Augustus's new model of imperial rule brought a sense of order and unity that had eluded Rome for generations. Laws were standardized, the Senate was reformed, and a new sense of Roman identity began to take root. The achievements of this era, its engineering marvels, its art, and its systems of governance, would echo through history, shaping the world for millennia to come. Yet, beneath the surface, the seeds of future challenges and hidden flaws were quietly taking root. The story of the Pax Romana is not just the story of Rome at its zenith, but also the beginning of its transformation, a tale of peace, progress, and the subtle forces that would one day lead to its decline. The Pax Romana was no accident. It was carefully engineered by Augustus, the first Roman emperor, who understood that only a new kind of leadership could bring lasting peace to a fractured world. After years of brutal civil war, Augustus ended the chaos by concentrating power in himself, yet cleverly maintaining the outward appearance of the old republic. This delicate balance reassured the Senate and the people, allowing him to rule without open opposition. Emperors who followed, like Trajan, pushed the empire's boundaries even further, leading successful military campaigns that brought new wealth and prestige to Rome. Others, such as Hadrian, recognized the limits of expansion and instead focused on consolidating and defending the empire's vast borders, building walls and fortifications to keep enemies at bay. These emperors established a professional civil service, ensuring that the machinery of government ran smoothly. They enforced Roman law, which brought order and predictability to daily life, and created a sense of justice for citizens across the empire. In the cities, bustling markets and lively streets reflected the stability that Roman rule provided. People could go about their lives, conduct business, and gather in public spaces without fear of sudden upheaval. Public entertainments, like gladiatorial games and theater, along with the grain dole, kept the population content and distracted from political concerns, reinforcing the emperor's popularity. In effect, the emperors offered a social contract. In exchange for giving up some political freedom, Roman citizens received peace, security, and the chance to prosper in a stable society. This system allowed the empire not only to heal from its wounds, but to grow and maintain order across territories stretching from Britain to Egypt, connected by roads and governed by Roman law. Yet, this remarkable stability was always dependent on strong, capable leadership at the very top. The emperor's vision and authority held the system together. The peace of the Pax Romana was powerful, transforming the Mediterranean world, but it was also fragile, always vulnerable to internal strife and external threats. In the centuries to come, this hard-won stability would be tested by new challenges both from within and beyond Rome's borders, revealing just how delicate the balance truly was. With peace secured across its vast territories, the Roman Empire transformed into one of the ancient world's greatest marketplaces. The stability brought by Roman rule allowed commerce to flourish like never before, drawing traders and merchants from distant lands into the heart of the empire. The Mediterranean, now known as Mare Nostrum, or Our Sea, became a safe and bustling highway for commerce. Merchant ships sailed from the sun-drenched coasts of Egypt to the distant shores of Spain, carrying goods, people, and stories across the waves. Roman roads, marvels of engineering, connected cities and provinces, making the movement of goods and people swift and reliable. These roads stretched for thousands of miles, linking the empire from Britain to the Middle East. Trade boomed as never before. Amber from the cold forests of the Baltic, luxurious silks from the distant east, and fragrant spices from India filled Roman markets. Local produce mingled with exotic imports, creating a dazzling array of goods for Roman citizens. Cities like Alexandria and Carthage became vibrant commercial hubs, their harbors crowded with ships and their streets alive with the sounds of trade in dozens of languages. A common currency, the silver denarius, unified the economy and made transactions easier across the empire's vast expanse. Economic integration fostered a shared identity, as people from different backgrounds participated in the same markets and used the same money. As goods moved, so did ideas, religions, and art, creating a vibrant cosmopolitan society where cultures blended and innovation thrived. Wealth from commerce funded grand public works, magnificent arts, and enduring literature, enriching the lives of Roman citizens and leaving a legacy that still inspires today. Roman culture absorbed and adapted influences from every corner of the empire, blending traditions into something uniquely Roman yet wonderfully diverse. The prosperity of the Pax Romana was built on this intricate web of trade and exchange, connecting people, places, and ideas as never before. It was a golden age of connectivity and opportunity, where the world truly came together under the banner of Rome. The Pax Romana unleashed a building boom across the empire. Emperors and local elites competed to adorn cities with forums, temples, bathhouses, and amphitheaters. Roman concrete enabled grand, durable structures, symbols of power and unity. Aqueducts like the Pont du Gard brought fresh water to cities, supporting public health and massive bath complexes. Standardized city layouts spread Roman culture from Spain to Syria. Temples and monuments reinforced the emperor's divine authority and the shared identity of Rome. These buildings made Roman rule attractive and tangible. The urban landscape became a testament to Roman ambition and innovation. Architecture was the glue that bound the empire's diverse peoples together. Roman engineering was practical, ambitious, and enduring. Over 50,000 miles of paved roads connected the empire, enabling trade, communication, and military movement. At every city's heart stood the Forum, a hub for commerce, government, and religion. The Roman Forum in the capital was the ultimate symbol of civic life. Amphitheaters like the Colosseum hosted gladiatorial games, entertaining and uniting the masses. These public works showcased Rome's organizational power and resources. Roads, forums, and arenas were more than stone. They were the framework of Roman life. They made the Pax Romana possible, supporting peace, commerce, and culture. Their durability ensured Rome's legacy would endure for centuries. The empire's infrastructure was its greatest monument. Roman engineering astonished the ancient world. Straight roads, towering aqueducts, and vast arenas seemed almost supernatural to contemporaries. The scale and complexity of these projects dwarfed anything seen before in Europe. Roman concrete enabled domes and arches like the Pantheon, wonders of innovation. These marvels weren't limited to Rome. They spanned the empire, from Britain to Africa. Standardized architecture created a universal Roman identity. The empire's achievements were propaganda in stone, proclaiming Rome's supremacy. For many, Roman civilization felt like the only civilization that mattered. Beneath the surface, the Pax Romana was threatened by political corruption. No clear system for choosing emperors led to instability and civil war. The Praetorian Guard often sold the throne to the highest bidder. Corruption spread through the administration. Governors enriched themselves at the people's expense. Economic pressures mounted as expansion slowed and costs soared. Emperors debased the currency, causing inflation and hardship. Trust between rulers and the ruled eroded. Power struggles became violent and frequent. The crisis of the 3rd century saw dozens of emperors rise and fall in rapid succession. Civil war drained resources and shattered stability. The empire's internal rot left it vulnerable to threats from without. As Rome weakened within, its borders came under relentless pressure. Germanic tribes and the Sasanian Persians tested the empire's defenses. Civil wars forced legions away from the frontiers, leaving gaps for invaders. Barbarian raids grew larger and more frequent, shattering the sense of security. Germanic tribes became more organized, adopting Roman tactics and forming confederations. Migrations pushed by the Huns brought entire populations to Rome's borders. Emperors relied on diplomacy and recruited barbarians into the army, a risky move. The distinction between Roman and barbarian blurred, weakening the empire's identity. The overstretched borders could no longer be defended everywhere at once. The Pax Romana's peace was crumbling under external and internal strain. The Pax Romana remains a monumental achievement in history. For 2 centuries it brought peace, stability, and prosperity to millions. Roman infrastructure, law, and culture shaped Western civilization for centuries. Yet the same system that created peace also sowed the seeds of decline. Political instability and economic crisis weakened the empire from within. Barbarian invasions delivered the final blow to a crumbling structure. The legacy of the Pax Romana endured in law, language, and architecture. It stands as both a pinnacle of human achievement and a cautionary tale. The ruins of Rome remind us of the fragility and greatness of empire. Our story begins not with a mighty empire, but with a humble cluster of huts perched on the 7 hills beside the winding river Tiber. In these early days, there were no marble temples or grand forums, just simple dwellings made of wood and thatch, nestled among the wild green landscape of central Italy. Early Rome, founded in 753 BCE, was a modest settlement of Latins and other local peoples, farmers and shepherds, living simple lives. Their days were spent tending flocks, cultivating small plots of land and gathering around communal fires as the sun set over the hills. Life was hard, but the community was close-knit, bound together by shared traditions and the constant struggle for survival. Surrounded by powerful neighbors, Rome was just one city-state among many in the region of Latium. The landscape was dotted with rival villages and fortified towns, each vying for control of fertile land and vital resources. Competition and cooperation with these neighbors would shape Rome's destiny for centuries to come. The Romans later spun dramatic legends about their origins. Aeneas fleeing the burning city of Troy to find a new home. The twins Romulus and Remus abandoned and miraculously raised by a she-wolf. And the fateful moment when Romulus, after a deadly quarrel with his brother, became the city's first king. These stories, passed down through generations, gave the Romans a sense of purpose and a heroic past to rally around. These myths reflected Rome's belief in its destiny, but the reality was slow, difficult growth. The early settlement faced constant threats, from raiders, from famine, and from the unpredictable river itself. Yet, through perseverance and adaptability, the community endured, gradually expanding its influence over the surrounding countryside. Rome absorbed influences from the advanced Etruscans to the north, and Greek colonies to the south, forging a unique identity. The Etruscans brought new technologies, religious rituals, and artistic styles, while the Greeks introduced ideas about government, trade, and philosophy. This blend of cultures would become a hallmark of Roman civilization. Its location on the Tiber gave it access to vital trade routes, connecting Rome to the Mediterranean world. Merchants and travelers brought new goods, ideas, and opportunities, fueling the city's early expansion and prosperity. Rome was ruled by kings, 7 according to tradition, each advised by a senate of leading families. These early rulers established the foundations of Roman law, religion, and social order, setting the stage for the city's future greatness. This monarchy laid the groundwork for Rome's enduring institutions, but as the city grew, so did the ambitions and frustrations of its people. Discontent with absolute rule simmered beneath the surface, as powerful families and ordinary citizens alike began to demand a greater voice in their own destiny. The stage was set for a revolution that would change Rome forever, transforming it from a kingdom of humble beginnings into a republic destined to shape the course of history. In 509 BCE, the city of Rome was forever changed. Romans, weary of tyranny and injustice, rose up against their last king, Tarquin the Proud. The revolt was fierce and passionate, led by the determined Lucius Junius Brutus, who became a symbol of the people's desire for freedom. With the monarchy overthrown, the Romans vowed never again to be ruled by a single, all-powerful monarch. In place of the king, they established a new system, the Republic. Power was now shared between two consuls, elected each year by the citizens. These consuls were meant to serve as equals, each holding the authority to govern, but also to check the other's power. This system of mutual veto was designed to prevent any one person from seizing control, ensuring that decisions required cooperation and debate. The Senate, a council of Rome's elite, advised the consuls and shaped policy. Yet the Republic was far from a democracy. True power rested with the patricians, Rome's wealthy aristocratic families. They dominated the Senate, controlled the highest offices, and shaped the laws to benefit their own interests. The majority of Romans, known as plebeians, were farmers, laborers, and soldiers. Despite their vital role in society, serving in the army, paying taxes, and building the city, they had little say in government decisions. Frustrated by this inequality, the plebeians began to organize and demand greater rights. Their struggle, known as the conflict of the orders, would last for generations as they sought a voice in the laws that governed their lives. The plebeians' most powerful tactic was the secessio, a dramatic mass walkout. By leaving the city en masse, they left Rome vulnerable, forcing the patricians to negotiate and recognize their demands. Over centuries, the plebeians achieved significant victories. They gained the right to elect their own officials, the tribunes, and secured written laws to protect their rights. These hard-won reforms slowly transformed Rome into a more balanced, though still deeply hierarchical society. The Republic's system of checks and balances, born from struggle and compromise, became one of its most enduring legacies, an inspiration for future generations seeking fair government. Yet, the struggle for equality and justice in Rome was far from over. The seeds of future conflict had already been sown. A turning point came with the creation of the 12 Tables around 450 BCE. Before this, laws were unwritten and controlled by patrician magistrates, leaving plebeians vulnerable to abuse. Plebeians demanded transparency, leading to the appointment of a commission to write down Rome's laws. The result, 12 bronze tablets displayed in the forum, making the law public and binding for all. The 12 tables covered property, inheritance, debt, and family, often harsh, but revolutionary in principle. For the first time, justice was based on known rules, not the whims of the elite. The idea of a written legal code became central to Roman identity and influenced Western civilization for centuries. Rome's commitment to law over personal power would echo through history. Rome's rise was powered by its formidable army, the legion. Early legions were citizen militias, but as Rome expanded, reforms created a professional force open even to the poor. Soldiers were equipped by the state and trained as both warriors and engineers, building camps, roads, and siege works. Discipline was strict. Rewards and punishments forged unity and effectiveness. The legion's flexible structure, cohorts and centuries, allowed commanders to adapt quickly in battle. Tactics combined missile volleys with relentless close combat, overwhelming less organized foes. This military machine systematically conquered Italy and beyond, absorbing neighbors into the Roman world. Rome's army was the backbone of its growing empire. With Italy firmly under their control, the Romans found themselves at a crossroads. Their ambitions, once limited to the Italian peninsula, now reached outward, seeking new challenges and greater glory. The vast Mediterranean, a sea of opportunity and danger, beckoned. Rome's gaze turned to the blue expanse, where trade routes and riches awaited, but so did powerful rivals. Chief among them was Carthage, a wealthy city-state in North Africa. Carthage commanded a mighty navy and controlled lucrative trade networks, making it the dominant force in the western Mediterranean. Inevitably, the ambitions of Rome and Carthage collided, sparking a fierce rivalry that would shape the ancient world. Their conflict erupted in the Punic Wars, a series of brutal and protracted struggles lasting over a century, as each side fought for supremacy over the Mediterranean's vital waters and lands. In the First Punic War, Rome faced a daunting challenge. It had no real navy. Yet, determined to match Carthage at sea, the Romans built a fleet from scratch, ingeniously copying captured Carthaginian ships and training thousands of new sailors. They invented the corvus, a boarding bridge that transformed naval battles into infantry clashes, playing to Rome's strengths. After 2 decades of hard-fought battles, Rome seized Sicily, marking its first overseas province and a turning point in its history. The Second Punic War brought new horrors and legends as Hannibal, Carthage's brilliant general, led his army, and his famous war elephants, on a daring march over the Alps into Italy. Hannibal's tactics brought Rome to the brink of defeat, with crushing victories on Italian soil. Yet, the Romans refused to surrender, adopting a war of attrition, wearing down their enemy through persistence, resilience, and strategic counterattacks. Eventually, Roman forces under Scipio Africanus defeated Hannibal at the Battle of Zama, ending Carthage's hopes of victory. Carthage lost its empire, its navy, and much of its wealth, reduced to a minor power, a shadow of its former self. The Third Punic War sealed Carthage's fate. After a brutal siege, the city was utterly destroyed, its people killed or enslaved, its buildings razed to the ground. Rome now ruled the western Mediterranean, its power unchallenged across the sea. These epic wars transformed Rome from a regional power into a true imperial force, setting the stage for centuries of expansion and dominance. The Mediterranean became Rome's domain, a Roman lake, as new provinces and cities flourished under Roman rule. The Republic's armies and engineers pushed ever outward, building roads, founding colonies, and spreading Roman culture far and wide. The destiny of Rome was now inseparable from conquest and empire, forever changing the course of history. Rome's power was built as much on engineering as on arms. Their roads, over 50,000 miles, connected the empire, enabling rapid troop movement, trade, and communication. The Appian Way and others were marvels of layered construction, built to last. Aqueducts brought fresh water from distant springs, using gravity and arches to supply cities. These feats of engineering supported public health, urban growth, and a high quality of life. The imperial post, the cursus publicus, bound the state together. Roman cities became magnets for people's symbols of prosperity and order. Infrastructure was the silent force behind Rome's greatness. Roman cities were showcases of power, piety, and public life. Temples like Jupiter's on the Capitoline Hill honored the gods and displayed Rome's wealth. Concrete construction allowed for grand spaces, most famously, the Pantheon's soaring dome. Temples also housed treasuries and celebrated military victories. The Forum was the city's bustling heart. Political, legal, and social life all converged there. Entertainment venues like the Colosseum and Circus Maximus offered games and spectacles for the masses. Public bathhouses were centers of leisure and community, open to all. Rome's architecture embodied its ambition and unity. Rome's success brought crisis. Conquest flooded the city with wealth and slaves, widening the gap between rich and poor. Small farmers lost their land to vast estates, while the urban poor grew restless and dependent on handouts. Reformers like the Gracchi brothers tried to redistribute land, but were met with violence and assassination. The army's loyalty shifted from the state to powerful generals, who used their troops for personal ambition. Civil wars erupted as men like Sulla, Pompey, and Caesar vied for control. The old republic, designed for a city-state, could not withstand the pressures of empire and internal strife. The stage was set for the republic's fall and the rise of a single ruler. By the 1st century BCE, Rome ruled the Mediterranean. Mare Nostrum, our sea, conquests stretched from Spain to Syria, Gaul to Egypt, uniting diverse peoples under Roman rule. The city of Rome became a cosmopolitan metropolis, enriched by provincial wealth and Greek culture. But the cost was high. Civil wars and political breakdowns shattered the old order. The final struggle between Octavian and Mark Antony ended at Actium in 31 BCE. Octavian, now Augustus, kept the forms of the Republic but held all real power. The Pax Romana began, a new era of peace and stability. Rome's journey from village to superpower was complete. The Republic was gone, the empire had